Welcome to our latest podcast episode. Today, I'm excited to introduce Mohammed Adnan, a seasoned senior consultant and Microsoft Data Platform (MVP). Adnan is also a Microsoft certified trainer and data analyst. With over 15 years of industry experience, Mohammed has spent the last 7 years focusing intensively on Power BI and Fabric. Join us today on the podcast as we explore what's new in Data Platform and Azure Open AI.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in another podcast, another industry expert I have today. And this time, again, very far from 12 hours difference. I really appreciate it. Making up this time another Microsoft MVP. As I said on these podcasts, I bring different experts from different areas in technology. Azure, it can be. We have people even from AWS. And this time, we're going to talk about data platform, Power BI, and also generative AI, because this is also in the back end is all about data. So I have Adnan all the way from India. So welcome to the show, Adnan.
Hi, Adnan. So we both are Adnan. So
Yeah,
it will be little bit confusion for the viewers. Yeah, that's
right.
okay.
No, yeah. So I'm Adnan Rafiq from US. He's Adnan from India. And
India.
in fact, I had another Microsoft MVP, Adnan. He's from Netherlands. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Basically,
So
I'm like you said, I'm from India, Tamil Nadu, and Ambur. And our place is famous for two things, which is biryani and then leather shoes. So we have
okay.
multiple units here, those who
I
export
love
leather shoes
biryani,
from
man.
here.
I love biryani.
Yeah. If you get a chance to visit Ambur in India, then you can have a Ambur biryani for that.
Oh wow. Sure.
As a part of my career, so I'm working. I'm a data platform MVP from last 3 years now, and I'm working with the Radagard now. And I have my own YouTube channel as well, which is like 18, which is mainly focused on Power BI, Power Platform, and Fabric. And I started to work on generative AI as well. So
Nice.
this is a short introduction about it.
No, that's good to know. And those who are watching, stay tuned because you'll find his YouTube channel and LinkedIn profile in the description. I'll put so again, those who are seeking career, because I get those inquiries. Hey, how do we start a career as a data
Uh,
analyst? How do we start in that, data scientist? So
yeah.
again, we will talk about those as well. So now tell us like how these expertise. I've seen this is growing field. So, what are the use cases and scenarios where data platform engineers are required, and what problem do you guys solve?
So basically, every company needs some kind of analytics to make the business decisions. And we are in the rapid phase of the world right now. So things are changing very rapidly. So business has to be well ahead in order to make their business decisions. So Power BI is a kind of tool from Microsoft that is actually one of the leading tool as per the Gartner review as well, since its beginning of 2015. And now many millions of people are using it on a regular basis. So the main use case is the Power BI desktop is completely free for you. So anybody can download Power BI desktop. And then if they have a data in Excel, SQL, Oracle, SAP, or any of the source, they can connect to the data and then they can build the report on the go. So you may not need extensive knowledge of anything like that. So if you want to just start, then you can start with the basic knowledge of having computer knowledge. But if you want to go a level depth, then you need to learn about Power Query, which is a kind of transformation engine in Power BI. That's really an awesome engine. So it actually helps the data to get the data and transform the data as per our business need. As per the use case is concerned for Power BI, so it actually applies for every industry, not only for healthcare, not only for manufacturing, it also applies for supply chain and finance, as well as human resource. Every place we can make use of that. So there are kind of business cases which I work is like delivery of the food. Like in India, we have a Zomato and maybe you have Uber on that, right?
Yes.
So online delivery kind of thing. So we get real-time data from the IoT devices, from the sensor, what the users, what the delivery partners are keeping up on the mobile, and also customers booking on the mobile. So these kind of triggers information, IoT devices to the Azure cloud. And from that, we are taking the information on the real time in order to monitor about the effectiveness of the system, the probability, what the system defines about the goods will reach in 30 minutes, for example, the food will reach in 30 minutes, but actually how it will reach. It reaches in 25 minutes or it reaches in 40 minutes. So they're taking decisions upon what is the best route out of it, how they can guide the delivery partners to go in this way. So Power BI helps in that area. And when it comes to healthcare, basically, so we can have an understanding about what are the diseases in our area is accumulating a lot, and which kind of patients which comes up for the treatment. So that if every same monsoon comes again, then the hospitals can be well ahead about preparing the medicines and keeping up everything so that they can treat the patient well. So these are some business cases what you can use in Power BI.
Yeah, both are very interesting. So I think let's talk a little bit more on that. Both business cases, like you talk about food delivery, right? So this is in the real time you're mentioning, and then this is how they can improve the end user experience, right? If the
Yeah.
food is deliverable or not, and which area has more demand. In our case, we have a sports game going all over here in New York City and in
Yeah.
MetLife Stadium. With as you give an example, Uber, so they can have more people.
Yeah.
So basically, they are solving their problem, but at the same time, it's also creating some sort of a job, right? So they know where
Yeah.
the demand is. So they can say, hey,
Exactly.
in this area, we need more people.
Mm.
So, and the good thing I like you mentioned about IoT, because we see all the time IoT, and even in security, we have to yet to see a whole different, because these in IoT, in the case the one you mentioned is iPhone, Android is fine, but IoT for handheld devices, IoT at my fridge,
Yeah.
IoT, they are not secure. Their embedded system, they never get updated. It's a huge problem. And
Yeah.
you go and look it up, you'll find millions of cameras installed in the garage. They have
CCTV. Yeah.
admin password, right? So,
Exactly.
but the business case, the use case you talked about, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And these things even didn't exist before COVID, I guess. I think things gone way up.
Yeah.
The food
Exactly.
delivery, people at home, they just want to order the food, and they need an Uber ride.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
So this
so
thing
are there any
recently boosted. Yeah.
So, is there any specific, out of curiosity, challenges or issue do you see?
Yeah, that's actually one of the big amazing questions to be said, because as companies are migrating from the usual standard reporting systems to this Power BI analytics team, that even though companies have the big systems like Oracle or SAP or Dynamic 365, but every department, when we look inside to every department to make reports on Power BI, then every department has some kind of Excels with them. Whatever application you do, but still they will follow Excel, because Excel is the thing which is inside a blood of the business, kind of, I can say,
Uh,
right? Every business will use Excel. Whatever software you apply, still they are
oh,
going to use Excel. Yeah, that's
maybe,
how we used to work
and
on
maybe
that, right?
this will
Yeah.
change with the generation Gen Z. They're used to the new platform, and they will not like. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe. So since our beginning, the Excel is there, and still we are following the Excel kind of thing. So the
Okay. So
challenge comes here is we need to combine the data of the traditional system, where the ERP which they are using, and then the
okay.
existing system, because there are certain inputs which they want to keep it in Excel itself. They don't want to enter into the software, whatever the reason it may be. It may be the application support, or it may be they don't want to do it over there. Like for example, they can enter the actual data into their ERP system, but they don't want to enter the planning of that, the budget of that. They want to keep everything on Excel, because they want to change something, or they want to keep it as personal kind of thing, confidential kind of thing. So we need to combine these two information, and then we need to build the report. And the challenges here is like the structure again. So the structure what we have it on the ERP systems is entirely different from the Excel. Excel is a place where we can place anything on anywhere else, any cells,
Okay.
and we can create any tables, right? So that's where the challenge here. So we need to use Power Query, the engine, what we
Okay.
have, in order to transform the data as per our requirement and then build the report. This is the kind of challenge which comes.
So, and are there other any advantages? Power BI, we know there are some competitive product as well in the market. There are some tools who does the same thing. So, other than a free subscription, what advantage of using Power BI other using other products?
So Tableau is the thing which is actually
Yes.
bought by Salesforce recently. So that is the main competitor for Power BI. When Power BI initially started, and I was looking at that like 2015 period, so Tableau is price point. Even for personal use, you need to pay kind of $30 or $70 US time at that time. I'm not remember about that, but you need to pay even for your personal use case. But for Power BI is entirely free for you. So that's one of the reason I can say that it became a boost on the community for to usage on that. Another main plus point is for me, I can say everything what we are using on our daily activity is basically the Windows. So it's everything comes under Microsoft platform. The Excel word we are using it here, and even the applications, and also the Windows which we are using it here. So everything comes in the uh, this one itself. What I say, Microsoft family itself. So it's the kind of added advantage what we have. And if you are using Azure for any data storage or SQL Server file for that, and it's a nativity connector for Azure and Power BI. So we'll have first in performance in order to build the report on top of that.
No, it makes sense because part of the whole ecosystem and most
Ecosystem.
of the shops, if they're using pretty much 90% of the commercial industry in my experience, they run on Microsoft 365 or Exchange. So they have Exchange, they have Outlook, they have Teams. So Power BI comes with that if you have Microsoft 365 license. So there is no
Yeah.
reason to invest extra money on that unless there you have a niche or a
Yeah.
specific features you're looking for. But again, if you want to give it a try and play around with that, I think there is no, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. And Power BI is actually part of two different products. I mean, two different groups, I can say. One is
Okay.
it is part of Power Platform, which is consist of Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Visual Agent. So
Okay.
these are all kind of business specific applications. So Power BI is for analytic purpose, and Power Apps we can use it for building a business applications. Like for example, it is not the replacement of your ERP, but it's a kind of an application you can build very fast, and this actually helps to improve your business process. Like for example, if you are monitoring a heat of every plant machinery in your industry in your company, then people usually used to write it down in a paper and then type it in system. So that
Yeah.
will take time. So you can quickly build an app in Power Apps and then give the tablet or mobile to the user. So they can directly go on the place and then they can just select the device, I mean, select the plant, machinery, and then they will enter the data directly over there. And through that
Yeah.
internet connection or Wi-Fi, it will update the server.
Yeah, I remember I've seen those presentations from Dan Holmes. He's a very known in Microsoft, and he showed how to build the apps like within minutes with
Yeah,
Power
exactly.
App platforms. So I'm sure that's you're talking about, and then businesses can just build the app on the go. That's the concept they have. So that's all good. So before I switch my topic to the generative AI, what about is there any such thing in Power Apps called Copilot for Power Apps? Is there such thing?
Exactly. So recently, Power BI, Microsoft has introduced the Copilot, not only in Office 365, but every product of Microsoft, they are going to bring the Copilot. So Copilot is a kind of our virtual assistant, we can say, in the same. So we just need to tell them in a natural language what we need, and then this will help us to build the thing. This is not a kind of many people think about it's a kind of replacement of our job kind of thing, but it is not actually in the true sense. It's actually it helps to improve our productivity. That's the thing. So if you want to build something in Power Apps or if you want to build anything on the Power BI report, then Copilot can help to build the report. So let's take an example of Power BI itself. So you have a Power BI model and you ask to Copilot to build the report for you, like for supply chain. And this will give you a report for you in the supply chain, whatever the requirement which I mentioned. But in order to build Power BI report for you, the data model has to be correct. The table names, the column names, and the measures, whatever you are creating, it has to be a business friendly name. Then only it will create and it will make sense to read those information. But if you make the data model itself garbage, then like it says, the sentence is there. If you throw a garbage, then this will throw the garbage to you itself. So that's how it will. So you need to make your data as much as clarity as you want. Then only it will give you the beautiful result.
Perfect.
Similarly,
Have you put a video on that on your YouTube channel? How to do it with this Copilot and all that?
not yet actually. I'm
No.
just
Okay.
still working on
So
that.
so
Yeah.
so don't do it. We'll do a live. We'll do a recording here, and if you have time, we can show the people live in the 5 minutes kind of a demo, and
Yeah.
then they can always go and watch the whole tutorial whenever you think to plan on YouTube channel. So guys, go. A
Sure.
lot of resources available on his YouTube channel. You're definitely gonna learn a lot because MVPs, I respect them. I had been MVP myself, so we put a lot of time and energy for nothing. We don't get paid. It's all our motivation. It's all our
Yeah.
passion. They put their soul in it, because they love doing it.
Yeah.
So if you have MVPs in your city, in your whichever, go meet them. Otherwise, connect with them online. They have a lot of things. and they don't mind sharing. And also from the business perspective, they have a lot of insights. They work very closely with the Microsoft product team and all that. So they're really ahead of the game, 3 months, 6 months ahead. They know what things are coming. So now let's move on to generative AI. You were talking about something, so I'm very curious. Tell me what you have to share with us.
Generative AI, this is going to be the future of, like you said, Gen Z, right? We are at least half of our career, so it will go as it is. But for the new generations to come, this is going to the future for them, I can say. Because at least for the next 20, 30 years, this is going to be the game for them. In order to, for that, they need to learn what is generative AI. So in a short time, as we have time sensitive, it's basically and artificial intelligence, to be say, and which actually takes our input and creates content by its own. So it is not something it is available on the web. It is actually generating the content by its own based on the language which it has learned, it has trained, predefined, and that language actually helps to use our prompt and create content based on it. Content in the sense not only just the text, it can read your text and summarize it for you. It can generate an image for you, and it can generate a voice for you, and it can also generate a video for you. So that's a pretty amazing for this. So this is really new actually to be say in the market. So there are lots of things has to come, like the regulations as an important thing. It has to come because people think about like it's going to be misused in certain way about that, but it will happen. Like I've seen a video of interview with Satya Nadella. So he said about even though we launch a software, then every nation will apply certain regulations that this has to come from the response as a kind of generative AI. So this is going to come in future. But for now, we can use it as per our need. Open AI, that's a parent company of generative AI, which has built up this application like ChatGPT, and that is publicly available for everyone. So anybody can log in and then give a prompt. And the prompt has to be the important factor for that. So the way how we are telling it in a natural language, then only it will respond it back to you. So that's an important thing. We need to learn about the prompt engineering. That's a keyword we used to say. Yeah, if you are planning to use it in your organization, then Microsoft has provided this Azure AI. That's the kind of platform where it's actually backed by multiple things, like whatever the application with Microsoft is building. It contains like Azure Vision, Azure Cognitive Services for Language, and Azure Open AI, which has integrated with Open AI for this, and Azure Form Recognizer, Document Analytics, and Azure Language and Speech kind of thing. So there are multiple AI services built in inside to that. And the beauty of this one is this is backed by Azure Security. So whatever data which you are going to add or use in the kind of chat GPT inside to Azure, then it is going to be secure for you. So you will not get any kind of theft for that. And also you have a control about how it has to respond. But in chat GPT, that's a public, you don't have any control, but in Azure AI, you have total control over that.
Oh, really? So can you tell more about it? What kind of control? That's I'm curious to know.
Yeah, like for example, we don't want in our company to allow this open AI to release any sensitive information like nudity
you do
or
have that. Okay, wow. Yeah.
yeah,
So
in
how
Azure AI, we have the control. We recently introduced about content safety that is still in preview. So we can go there and then configure about which model has to select which kind of content sharing. It has to be low security, high security, moderate kind of security.
So I think you're
Yeah,
talking about data security and privacy. So what you're saying again, it's in preview. We'll learn more. Yeah, this is good business case for health industry and finance and banking.
yeah,
So for the
exactly.
organization, what you're saying, make sure you leverage the Azure services for
Yeah,
generative AI and have
yeah.
governance and security controls around that.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. And one of the, again, a great point of using Azure, ChatGPT is only backed by Azure, OpenAI. That's the only one company. So OpenAI actually, the generative everything works based on large language model. We used to say
Yeah,
LLM
LLM.
for
Yeah.
that, right? And OpenAI is one of the LLM provider. Similarly, if you go with Azure AI, they actually have an option. If you want to go with Meta, which is they have their own LLM, and NVIDIA also they have their own LLM, and also the Hugging Face is one of the other LLM. So we can use any one of those LLMs for our reporting purpose, for our analytic purpose here, using generative AI for that.
So,
So
so,
that's also we have a
so
control in.
wow. So within Azure, you're saying I have the option as a business to which LLM to use. So I can use even Open AI, I can use from
Yeah.
NVIDIA, I can use from
Yeah.
Meta, or maybe third party, which is available in Azure Marketplace.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly. You
wow,
can use that.
this is like yeah. I mean, I've not like that's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, like within 2 years, I can see at least 3, 4 new job roles. Governance for
Exactly.
AI,
Definitely.
uh, architect, because I mean we have to understand. Okay, why do we
Yeah,
want to use this
exactly.
LLM versus this LLM? So you have to understand that particular LLM may
Yeah,
work perfect for a financial industry. Another LLM may work for a different industry, right? Quite interesting. And you also mentioned there is governance and controls available. This is all good stuff. We covered two topics: data sciences or data analytics, data platform within Microsoft Azure with our MVP. He shared unbelievable information of generative AI. I was talking to him offline, but I did not expect this uh, more information which came out. So I know there are some scenarios you can misuse it. I can give you 10 examples. Maybe I'll
mm,
bring Adnan next time and we talk about what the worst case we can think
yeah,
of. We can talk about those use cases.
yeah,
For a person like me, I need to understand as I learn. I mean, you can have different models in LLM to be integrated within Azure. So if you're a
yeah,
business, you have your AI strategy and governance. Now you have multiple LLMs to use for your particular, like multi-cloud strategy. Now your multi-LLM strategy. So before we hang up, last comment you want to give, one piece of or word of wisdom before we hang up.
yeah. The one thing which I used to say in my videos is like, keep learning and keep sharing. That's
Perfect,
the one
man.
thing.
That's why we are here. We keep sharing. So thank
Yeah,
you, Adnan. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. And hopefully I
yeah,
will see you in more podcast.
yeah,
And guys, in the description, you'll find all the information related about him. And feel free to connect and happy learning.
yeah. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.